Welcome back to Student Pages Spotlight series. I'm your host Izzy, and today I'm joined by the incredible Will Brown. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you, and how are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I am doing great, thank you. The weather is okay today.
Amazing. That always makes a difference.
Yes.
I can't really say the same here. It looks a bit miserable. Well, first of all, congratulations on your new single, Scars and Glory.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
incredible. With the release of your new EP, Welcome to Brandsville last month, how has your new music helped to inspire your creative process?
One thing it's helped me inspire to has inspired me about it is just trusting myself and being confident that what I have is enough. And I do have enough of the tools that can push me to that next level. So I would say the inspiration has been in just being more confident and trusting what I have is enough.
Yeah, definitely. And like you're also scheduled to support Jules Holland on part of his upcoming UK tour,
Right.
which, like you say, I'm sure that type of thing takes a lot of confidence also. So how did this collaboration come about, and what does it mean to be working with such a legendary music icon?
I'm still pinching myself because I can't believe it. I'm like really thrilled and excited as to be opening for him on three of his dates. It's just, it's an incredible opportunity, and I can't wait to experience it. And I can't wait to connect with the people in his crowd as well. This opportunity, it came because I had just did Time Frans. It's a big TV show, and I was pitched to be the support act for Jules Holland. And once they seen a few of my performances, I got picked is to be a support act. So I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have like this incredible story about it, but it's incredible enough the fact that I'm supporting Jules Holland, especially as a new up and coming artist. So it's just really exciting that he's given me the platform and the trust is to be on his stage and really connect with his people. So I'm just honored and excited about it.
Yeah, and it's such an exciting experience, and like you say, must be such like a thrilling experience. So can you give us a little bit of background on how you got into the music industry in the first place and why you chose this direction?
Yeah, so I started singing very young, but I started singing professionally oh some years ago, and I did that for about 10 years in gospel music when I was living back home in Kansas. And so I traveled, did a lot of recordings, did a lot of session work. And then I also performed at church. I was the minister of music, praise and worship leader. So I did a lot of things in the music industry. And it wasn't until I ended up breaking away from the music business for maybe about 2 years. And I caught myself giving up on it and just focusing in on the legal field that I was in because I started working in corporate America. And I just couldn't resist the creative thoughts and ideas that kept coming in my head. And so finally, I allowed myself is to again be creative, and I started writing again. I started thinking of melodies and tunes, so forth and so on. And it wasn't until I would say 3 years ago is when I linked up with some musicians, some producers in Los Angeles. It's when I recorded my first EP. I knew I always wanted to do pop soul music. I never wanted to do gospel music. I always wanted to do pop. It was always in me. And once I heard Sam Smith, Adele, and a lot of different British artists that was coming out of the UK, that's when I knew that's the type of music that I wanted to do. Um, and so I would say about 3 years ago, and I just kept connecting with people and perfecting the craft and just building and building and building. And here I am now. But I knew that I felt the message and the voice and the ideas that I had were a bit bigger than the church. And I wanted to go outside of the church because I didn't want to, again, I didn't want to do gospel music. I wanted to do something more fun and provide life music. And so, yeah, and I transitioned to pop soul. And so far, it's been working pretty well for me.
Yeah, and so you've mentioned the types of singers that you've taken a bit of inspiration from, especially in the UK scene. And I know you've defined your genre, but what kind of ways would you describe your music? Like to anyone who might not have heard it, what do you think makes your music stand out?
It's dignity through adversity, it's just being honest. And I think one of the things is in most of my songs, there's always hope. You always feel a sense of hope and a sense of overcoming something, and a bit also being more empowered. So my songs never end on like a gloomy or sad note. It always ends with something that's hopeful and inspiring. And I feel like that's how you can kind of differentiate my music from maybe other artists. So it gives you that glimpse of hope.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you said, your music in itself is very inspiring. So could you tell us a little bit about the people in your life who inspired you to strive to achieve the things that you've achieved and get to where you are now?
So I would say definitely my parents. My father's a pastor. Before he was a pastor, he was a over-the-road truck driver. So he did that for a long time. And I just seen my father, because growing up, I grew up in a musical family, and I just seen how my father went from driving the trucks, over-the-road truck driver, singing in the quartet to becoming a pastor. And like my dad, he really couldn't type. He didn't feel like he was that great of a speaker or orator, getting in front of people to speak, and just seeing him like really work on that and become this, I don't know, giant in the city. Like he probably doesn't think that, but I feel he is this giant in the city, and like so many people come in and being inspired by what he was preaching and presenting, and how he was so helpful and always pouring and pouring and pouring out to people. That really inspired me, is just to trust what you have is enough, and then you just keep working on it, and eventually it'll get better. And it's always about other people, and not always about yourself. It's about making sure others are being uplifted, and um you're giving them some glimpse of hope or a way of becoming their best selves. And so I would say my dad was very inspiring in that way. And also musically as well, because he did music, but he didn't really focus on the music. He just went to preaching.
Well, I think that's a really beautiful story, and like you say, you always aim to share hope and happiness with other people, and I think that's a really beautiful thing. But I also feel like in today's world, especially with social media aspects and things like that, you may give to others, but others may not always be as kind back to you. So could you share with us, if you feel comfortable, any hate or bullying that you've experienced during this pursuit of your dream? And how have you dealt with that and worked through that to get to where you are now?
I wouldn't say hate or bullying. I haven't experienced that, but I have experienced maybe like a couple of mean comments or
Mhm.
rude DMs. And for me, it's just I just ignore it, because the people that are making those comments, they don't know me. All they see is what's on the screen. Um, and so I really don't pay attention to it. It's really hard for me to pay attention to it. It would be a difference if it came from someone that I actually knew. That's when I feel like it would be most hurtful. But I know for some people, it really gets to you. Like I don't like social media at all. It's very hard. Social media is very hard because you will get judged, and you hear all different types of things. But I just I just equate those things as to sometimes people are going through something, and that is their way of lashing out, of getting it out. Their system is going under someone's post or sending them a DM saying whatever they feel like they need to say. I feel like it's just something that's going on with them on the inside or in their life, and they're just projecting and trying to push it out on others. So I really don't, to be honest, I really don't pay attention to it. Like I'll read it and I'm like, oh, too bad they don't know me. Like I wish they knew me, but yeah, because I've had a couple, which is, to me it's hilarious, because I'm like, yeah, you really don't know me, but it's okay. So I really ignore it. Um, Water under the bridge, and I just keep going, because I feel like if you're not making those comments or sending me those DMs, then I'm not doing something right. So I must be
Mm.
doing something right for you to take time out of your day is to send me a mean message or something that I've said or a song that you've heard really resonated with you and you didn't know how to receive it. So you wanted to lash out. Yeah. And because you saw yourself in that moment. So yeah, I just kind of
I
ignore it.
think, yeah, I think that's a really interesting like take on because I think that does reflect probably a lot of how music gets perceived by certain people and how they react to it differently. And I
Yeah.
think it's really inspiring that you have such a positive and clear view on what the music is that you want to produce and you don't let other people's intentions or perceptions influence that. So with
Yeah.
that being said, how important was it for you to find people within the industry that were in sync with the music that you were looking to produce?
Um, it was very important because not it, and even with those people, not everyone will get the vision. It's just up to you is to just keep going with it. Like you'll
Mhm.
definitely have like supporters and people who believe in it, but maybe sometimes they can't see what you see. So I felt like it wasn't as hard. Um, because I'm still like a spiritual person and I feel like everything happens for a reason. And I
Mhm.
feel like God or whatever people want to call him will put the right people in your life is to take you to where it is that you need to go, or at least to the next level of where you need to go. And so I feel like it wasn't as hard. Sometimes it does cost, sometimes I do have to remind people like this is what I'm doing and this is where I'm trying to go and that's the vision. I think it's all about making sure you are a great leader over what it is that you're producing and where you're taking your community and your people. So I think it has a lot to do with the leadership skills and your leadership capabilities. So and even though like also too like with what's going on in the world now, I feel like my music totally fits because we need a little bit of inspiration and I feel like everyone understands that. And so it's just I just felt like the stars aligned with the people and the community that I've created is to help pull my music to the next level and where it needs to go. And it's just about being a great leader and
Mhm.
making sure I keep everyone kind of on task and helping to keep reiterating this is the goal, this is the dream, this is the vision. Because not all will understand it and not all will get it, which is totally fine. So, yeah,
Yeah, really well said. And I also think that it's so important, like you said, that especially in what's going on with the world today, it's music is such a guiding light for a lot of people. So I think that's really, really well said.
yeah.
And you've already given us so much great advice, and so much inspiration. But if you did have some particular advice for students or young people looking to get into the music industry, what would that advice be?
I would say my advice would be one, know who you are, and it's not going to happen overnight. Um, it takes some time, but know who you are, know what message it is that you want to give out, and stick with that and go with it because not everyone will understand your vision. If you understand and have the confidence in your vision, your ideas, keep going with it. Don't let anyone deter you and try and make you do something that they feel like you should be doing. Go with your gut. Always trust yourself, bet on yourself, and you have time is to sometimes you start over. You you have to try first before you say it didn't work. You have to try it. If it didn't work, then try and reinvent the wheel. Or if it's working, keep going and just keep pressing. So don't give up. Always bet on yourself. And I have a favorite quote. It says, "The only way out is through." You have to go through all of those tough times in order to get out on the other side. Because when you're going through, some of those things will help refine you into being the person that you were created to be once you get to the end of that tunnel.
Definitely. And is there a particular challenge or like struggle that you've been through with your music and with your career path that you think has helped to direct you to get to where you are now?
Um, for me, I would say it was always about focusing on what other people are doing and trying to sound and be like them.
Hmm.
And it goes back to me saying I had to trust myself and trust my gut and know that what I had was enough. So I would say for me, that was that challenge. And then others trying to tell me, okay, you should do this or you should be in this section. And I'm like, no, that's not what I feel. Even though I tried it for a little bit, but it just wasn't, it didn't feel authentic to me. So I would say it was about me focusing on others, what they were doing, and trying to kind of like mimic them, but then realizing what I had was enough and it had to be organic and it had to be authentic. And I had to just trust, I had to trust my gut and believe in myself. And so I would say that for me, that was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge in the beginning.
Definitely, and I feel like that's really inspiring as following on from your piece of advice to keep pushing through.
Yeah.
Um, so definitely a really inspiring story. And so my final question for you is, obviously you have got the upcoming tour supporting Jules Holland, and I'm sure you've got a lot of things going off. Could you tell us a little bit of what you're working on right now?
Right now, I am working on, I wonder if I should, uh, I'm working on something live.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on something live and it may be a live recording.
Interesting. I'll not
Yeah.
prod you too much.
Yeah, not I'm working on something live. I'll just say that. But there are some new things and there's some new stuff happening, new things coming. So yeah, I can say that much.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and I'm very excited to see what you've got coming in the future. And thank you to everyone else for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you've got coming up.
Thank you.